Our group consists of Amos, Bonnie, Fiona, and Kate. As part of the idea generation step, we discussed lots of ideas involving products, strategies, business solutions, amongst other things. We also discussed targeting the Asian market, the South American markets, due to the growth and opportunities there. We used our work experience and personal research going back and forth for some time, but we finally narrowed it down and came to a group consensus. And we finally settled on Africa as our target continent and on a product that we're going to share with you all today. In thinking about the wow factor of our product, Bonnie had a thought and was talking to a friend, and they said, you never know if that one child in Africa holds the cure to cancer. And I think that's pretty impressive and something that we don't always stop and think about. And so she actually went and found a quote from Nelson Mandela, which reads, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." It's so very true, and especially true when we're talking about what we're trying to market here today. With education in Africa being our main focus, we did a lot of research, and as you can see from some of the points on this slide, there's a good reason why Africa is struggling as a continent with regard to access and the problems of education in Africa. The UN's Margaret Nowicki commented that low education rates in Africa can be attributed to a lack of access, poor schooling facilities, unqualified teachers, unsatisfactory teaching aids, and textbook provision. And all this leads to what we call the poverty trap, where the children receive poor education, which leads to poor health, poor income, poor nutrition, and it just goes around in a big cycle, which is why Africa as a continent is struggling so badly. Taking this one step further, you'll notice that there's a lot of unplanned teaching, large class sizes, poor literacy, and the amount of languages that have to have materials created for them across the continent is just so vast. And it's not even getting better because 20,000 skilled personnel are lost each year to developed countries because people are seeking better opportunities outside their own continent. The next few slides show a lot of statistics, which only go to show the gulf in education opportunity, separating Africa from the rest of the world and how it's widening. Failure to tackle this learning deficit will deprive a whole generation of opportunities to develop their potential and escape poverty, and will undermine prospects of dynamic growth with shared prosperity. To rectify this situation, we feel that Africa needs an education paradigm shift. Education planners must look beyond counting the number of children sitting in classrooms and focus on the learning. Teacher recruitment, training, support systems need to be overhauled to deliver effective classroom instruction. The growth of mobile connectivity, particularly in the developing world, has brought online content and interaction to a global audience. And Africa has an internet penetration of 18%, however mobile phone penetration is currently 67%. We feel that in Africa, mobile learning is the only practical way to sidestep the continent's huge physical and computing infrastructure deficits. While still very small, the tertiary sector in Africa is experiencing a boom in e-learning, and we want to bring this to the primary sector as well. We borrowed this video clip from a short educational documentary to emphasize why we chose Africa and how important we feel it is to push forward with marketing our product in Africa.
There are over 40 countries in sub-Saharan Africa, of which 70% of the population is rural and reliant on agriculture for their development and economic growth. The lack of education in these regions directly links to the poverty and starvation of these people, as they are unable to produce the foods essential to their survival. Their illiteracy also prevents them from applying better technologies to make small-scale farming more profitable. This jeopardizes the entire system.
In addition to this, the rising pandemic of HIV/AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa has led to an increase in teacher absenteeism. The small amount of children who are able to go to school have no one to educate them about subjects as basic as hygiene and how to protect themselves from illnesses like HIV/AIDS. Where in America such information is continuously stressed upon, children in sub-Saharan Africa are left vulnerable and unaware of how to properly care for their health. The lack of teachers, in addition to insufficient books or other facilities such as desks or blackboards, also detract from the progression towards a more stable economy. Because of this, children are not learning adequate amounts of math and science. As these children grow older, they are not educated enough to properly run their country and compete in a global economy.
Female education in particular is vital to the development as women produce 80% of the food in such countries. Over 33.75 million girls do not have access to proper education. Studies have shown that with an education, girls are not only healthier but less vulnerable to abuse and becoming a single teenage parent, an issue prevalent in developing countries such as those of sub-Saharan Africa, as 40% of women will experience motherhood by the age of 18.
Our product is what we call the Teacher's Toolkit, which is a mobile phone application that provides training and resources to primary school teachers in Africa. It provides up-to-date, accurate syllabus content to ensure students are being taught the latest curriculum in a modern and endorsed way. It also provides teachers with the tools they need to develop new skills, as well as a means to deliver lessons in an engaging and practical way. African educators in the past have been identified as using outdated European teaching formats that aren't relevant to the local countries. We feel we can help African countries overcome this by providing them with this app that can be used online or offline, which suits the more remote parts of Africa. And all the content is obviously going to be endorsed by the Global Education Network and local governments. In this mock-up, you can see how we have structured our app to provide teaching foundations in agriculture, which is obviously a key discipline considered an important part of the African curriculum, but it also provides opportunities to teach soft skills with responsibility, decision-making, and teamwork. In these other mock-ups, you'll see that we don't just provide resources for teaching the students, but also resources for the teachers themselves. One of the comments that we came across was that such poor outcomes can be partially explained by inadequate teaching. In countries such as Mozambique and Uganda, studies have found that fewer than half of the teachers could actually score in the top band on a test designed for 12-year-olds. So a lot of the teachers themselves don't even know how to teach. So now you know a little bit about what our product is. The question gets asked, why mobile, why Africa again? Well, the African mobile technology market has just blown up recently, and it's grown at 3 times the world's average, and it now consists of over 7% of the world's mobile market. And Africa has more than 225 million telephony subscribers, which has grown tremendously just in the last few years, where it was at one point just a little under 1 million. The next question that gets asked is how we take it to market. What's our plan? Well, what we plan on doing is partnering with universities in Africa and Australia to create content that is localized, but also that helps the teachers learn how to become better teachers themselves. We feel that this will help reduce our costs by partnering with these universities. And we have to keep in mind that Education Africa is, getting a lot of global attention at the moment because of how poor it is, and we really want to work into that little niche market and make a product that helps the world achieve the goals of increasing education in Africa. In helping take our product to market, we plan on doing a lot of networking. We feel that Austrade can help facilitate a lot of introductions with government departments. Also, having identified a growing opportunity for Australian education providers to participate in the delivery of education programs to Africa, Austrade will host an inaugural West Africa Education Exhibition in September of 2015, which we plan to attend and showcase our product. One of the other things we plan to do is connect with a lot of other large corporations that are following their corporate social responsibility and education initiatives in Africa, and we'll show you a little bit more about that towards the end of the video presentation. In thinking about costing for our app and how we're going to fund it, we thought about a lot of different avenues, but ultimately what it came down to is to develop a fully diverse app that will be able to be used across multiple countries, given that Africa has a lot of different countries where different languages are spoken, we're going to have to spend between 100 to 200,000 on development to make sure that the application is robust enough and can be easily updated with new content. We plan on making it available across all major platforms, and we'll make donations to the university's education departments who are helping us to generate and create this content. We feel that this education mobile app fits in perfectly with the goals of the World Bank, which are to provide loans to developing countries for capital investment so as to reduce poverty. And that's exactly what our app does in helping to change the education systems in Africa. So by working with the World Bank and obtaining government grants and working with other large corporations, we feel that we'll be able to easily reach our funding goals, which we have. You're probably thinking that this is not really a realistic and marketable product, but what I want to show now is a video clip of what Apple has done in actually providing Apple products and iPads to the African market and what it has done to change the lives of so many there.
Introducing our youngsters to technology and exposing them to creative process, we start to prepare them better for the 21st century workplace. iSchool Africa works in partnership and together with sponsors to expose kids in the education sector to Apple technology.
The iPads were brought into my school and it became a blessing to me. I really love using technology. So the iPads brought a change. They brought life. It's giving the learners to think outside the box.
It has been amazing to work with the iPad. It is so simple to use. The kids adopt it intuitively. We have found very little downtime. We have had very little maintenance challenges. The educators have found their way in using this tool quite simply.
I see an iPad making an impact in the classroom. I think they really understand much better when you bring this iPad into the classroom. The results have improved. So that is a great achievement.
I've seen poor kids from deprived backgrounds producing the quality of work that is indistinguishable from kids coming from the best resourced, most privileged schools. We can fundamentally change the landscape of this country. The iPad, in my view, can be the game changer in our schools. I feel that the impact of the iPad goes way beyond the classroom, in the sense that what we've done by trusting these kids with best-of-breed technology has exposed them to opportunity, has exposed them to self-belief, and I believe these kids are looking beyond school now. They are beginning to dream, they are beginning to have aspirations, they are beginning to believe that anything is possible.
One day I am old, one day I'm going to retire, but I want to leave a legacy.
As seen in this video, Apple and other corporations are out there providing hardware and other technological support to African nations through corporate support initiatives, and we want to directly be involved in that and also in providing the materials to help change the future of a continent that has so much promise.